Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Today we speak with Consul General of Japan, Keizo Takewaka. He joins us to talk about Philippine-Japan relations, coming after last week's announcement that Japan is going to be relaxing visa rules for some Southeast Asian countries, including the Philippines. Both countries are also working together in maritime disputes with China. Japan has promised to help the Philippines defend its remote islands. New developments here. Japan also has a new Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe. Things are changing. He's here to talk with us today. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Magandang tanghali po.
Magandang tanghali din ho. Can I ask you, let's talk about China. I mean, about a year ago, China really became extremely aggressive, and both for the Philippines and the Senkaku Islands for Japan. How do you see China today in the region?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Well, first of all, China is an important country not only for Japan but also for everybody nowadays. And China is a traditionally important friend. So we still value very much close relations with China. But secondly, we need to point out that recently we have some events which are not present. For example, for Japan, that China not only Senkaku but also recently some article that claiming Okinawa should belong to China or not.
Yes.
And also there was even some claim that on the occasion of the Premier Xi Jinping's visit to U.S. To divide the Pacific Ocean west and east. Or as you might know, that the beginning of this year near Senkaku, there was an event that China naval vessels projected the radar against Japanese vessels.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are recently going on and which are not present. But nevertheless, important thing is that Japan is taking a firm stance to pursue a peaceful resolution of the issue. We do not wish any wartime or armed conflict. And as Prime Minister Abe is repeatedly saying, the door of dialogue is open any time. And we are very much mindful that Chinese authorities should pursue a peaceful way of its nations and the diplomacy.
But do you agree that it seems, at least in the last year and a half or almost 2 years, China has taken increasingly aggressive positions, not just in the areas near Japan, but also in the South China Sea, what the Philippines calls the West Philippine Sea. You say you want peaceful measures, but how do you stand up firmly against these increasingly aggressive stands?
Well, here we have a concept that South China Sea is a kind of a global commons. It is a common goods for everybody.
Yes.
As you might know, for Japan, freedom of navigation through the South China Sea is vitally important for our economy. As you might know, that Japanese seafarers of Japanese ships, 75% are Filipino, and most of the goods are coming from the sea. So it is a kind of global goods for everybody. So what we are consistently saying is again the rule of law. So we have a UNCLOS.
Yes.
Most of the nations including China, Japan, and the Philippines, are the signatories
Yes.
of UNCLOS.
Yes.
So what we are saying is that, as you might know, that Philippines and China, Philippines is making the case for the
International arbitration. And
International
Japan
tribunal.
has said it supports this, correct?
Yeah, what we are saying is, to be accurate, we support the approach of the Philippines to submit the case for the sake of the rule of law. It is because fair and justice.
Right.
So that's the way countries like Japan and the Philippines are supporting, a way of supporting, upholding the value of international law, particularly UNCLOS.
Last week, the Philippine Defense Secretary actually gave the option to Japan to set up bases or to the use of Philippine bases. What do you think this shows?
Well, as for the defense exchange, one step at a time, because defense exchange between Japan and the Philippines is relatively short.
Yes.
We started when President Aquino visited Japan September 2011. At the joint statement, we confirmed the importance of defense exchange.
Yes.
Since then, last year, Defense Secretary Gazmin visited Japan last July and signed a memorandum of understanding. And then now our Defense Minister Onodera visited just last week. And it is a kind of an incremental step. And as you might know, uniform people like unity and friendship. So Japan conducts defense exchange with any neighboring countries. We do so with Russia, South
Yes.
Korea, or China, and why not the Philippines? So we started the defense exchange of the Philippines.
You've have Japan a year and a half ago has a new prime minister, Shinzo Abe. Do you see major changes? And I'll link it with defense. I mean, for a very long time after World War II, Japan was steering away. It has a SDF, right? The Special Defense Forces. It doesn't actually have its own military precisely because of World War II. Is there a change in the defense posture given the more aggressive stance China is taking?
Well, actually, that the Prime Minister Abe's main thrust is rather on economy. As you might know, since he took office last December,
Yes.
in 6 months, look at the stock market and look at our exchange rate. Yen's rate is now nearly 100 yen, so 25% devaluation. And we announced the participation in TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership
Which
Agreement.
both of us are in, right? Both the Philippines and Japan are part of TPP.
In March, and we designated former ADB President Kuroda as the governor of the
Correct.
central bank.
Yes.
And those are the measures, series of measures Prime Minister Abe is pursuing in the name of what we call three arrows. Three arrows means
What are the
strategy,
three arrows? Yes.
three strategies: monetary expansion, fiscal stimulus, and growth strategy. And growth strategy will, as I talk later, is also related to visa relaxation.
I see.
So it's really a drastic change
Yes.
is now going on, and also the speed. This speed of the change is very remarkable. So in this sense, Prime Minister Abe is making a real difference.
Do you
between-
feel it when you're
Yes.
in Japan?
Yes, if you visit Japan,
Yes.
I heard from Filipino visitors who visited Japan.
Yes.
He just said he participated in the TICAD conference, African conference. He said that nowadays that everybody is talking about favorably
Yes.
about Prime Minister or the government, and also the consumption. If we go to the department store, of Japanese department store,
Right.
the consumption is very high and the mood is quite high. So I think the economy is really making a difference.
Do the Japanese feel it?
Yes,
That
absolutely.
change in the economy. So,
Yes.
so Prime Minister Abe's focus is actually jump-starting the Japanese economy again,
Yes.
right? And you're saying in the last 6 months, Japanese feel it.
Yeah.
What's the connection then with the defense policies he's putting in place?
If I may add that his popularity, well, I think that it's for the first time in last 80 years, Prime Minister's popularity is going up. So it is for the Filipino, you
Yes.
have a remarkably popular president. So it might sound normal, but for us, the Prime Minister's popularity is increasing. It is very, very impressive move. So for the defense posture,
Sorry, let me bring you back to Japan.
Sorry.
We'll go back to the defense after. What's interesting there is if that's the case, then for many, many years, for almost a decade, we've been talking about a Japan that's had a stagnating economy, where the population is aging, and the mood has actually been depressing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How has Prime Minister Abe changed that?
yeah, that is exactly what Prime Minister Abe is changing, trying to change and really making a change. When Prime Minister Abe visited the U.S. In February, he made a famous speech, "Japan is back." And as you know, I think that the last month that London issued Economist
Yes.
put the article that Prime Minister Abe is just like a Superman. So I mean, it's really making a big change.
What is he
in
doing
the-
that's different? That's elevating the mood. That's making the mood more positive.
As I said, that it's coming from economy because people are regaining confidence in the future of Japanese economy. In the past, people felt uncertain, not confident about the future.
Yes.
So they don't spend, they save a lot. So as a result, that it's a vicious circle. Less consumption, less investment, and less tax revenue. It's a vicious circle. But they are now making more consumption and more investment. So that is now reflecting upon the stock market.
Interesting. And in terms of the aging population, the demographics of Japan, is there any change in that? I mean, are there policies that are addressing these issues?
This is an excellent point. Unlike stock exchange or exchange rate, demography or population, you can't change so easily.
Yes,
and
correct.
that is precisely the point of Japan-Filipino strategic partnership. You have excellent demography.
Yeah.
You have the world number one demography, youngest.
Yes.
The average age
We're
22.
very complementary. Our median
Yes.
age is 23 years old.
That's right. But on the contrary, in our case, we have what we call centenarians, those who are more than 100 years old. We have more than 50,000 centenarians
Really?
in Japan.
Okay.
So it is this really stark contrast. So we definitely need the friendship and economic cooperation or supplemental relations between Japan and the Philippines.
And how do you see these trade ties forming around this mutual need?
Okay.
Because obviously this very young population in the Philippines needs jobs.
Again, it doesn't happen so easily.
Yes.
But from Japan to the Philippines, that steady trend is going on. As you know, that we have more and more Japanese companies coming to the Philippines. For example, the last year, we saw the new companies, Murata, Canon, Brother, Furukawa Electric, Lion, Ibden or Semidyne. And in addition, Epson, Toshiba, Suzuki, NIDC, Tsukuden, and Telmon expanded their facilities. And this month, we are going to have an opening ceremony for Bandai and Fujifilm. And next month, I was told that Brother is going to have an opening ceremony. So Japanese companies are really coming in.
Why? Why are they bullish on the Philippines now?
A very simple reason. You are very close, and you are young, and you are very most amicable.
You're amicable also.
Yes. It's very simple, and the image of the Philippines, thanks to President Aquino, is now changing.
Correct.
So up to now, that Japanese company did not fully tap the potential of the Filipino economy, but you have a 7.8% growth, and you can be more confident about yourself. And also we have a new movement, like Japanese students are coming here to learn English. So in Cebu, we have 800 Japanese students temporarily stay 2 or 3 months to study English. For them, to come to Cebu is much more reasonable than say go to, let's say, London or New York.
How interesting! So you're saying that the popular leaders of both countries actually are heralding increasing ties between our two nations.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you about Shinzo Abe again. This is not the first time he's been prime minister, right? He was prime minister after Koizumi. What's the difference now between the first time he was prime minister and now? Why is he rejuvenating Japan now? And he didn't do such a great job the first time around.
Well, Prime Minister Abe often used to say, let's give a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance. Even when he was a prime minister previously, up to 2007, he used to say that. So now he is honoring that, and that trust, that trajectory gives us a hope and confidence. And now that, as I said, his speedy movement, just like this visa issue, we announced this measure June 25, and we were told implement it today, July 1st. Do it.
So great! Oh my gosh, this is very different from the way you look at the Japanese bureaucracy and the hierarchy.
Yes, so this is the way that Prime Minister Abe is commanding the Japanese economy and commanding the Japanese bureaucracy to move in a way that is favorable to everybody.
Fascinating. So then let's talk about moving towards defense again. As Japan is trying to reinvigorate its economy now, and we're strengthening ties with the Philippines, you're dealing with a far more aggressive China, at least in the last 1.5 years. Are there changes in the defense policy? For example, again, Japan was always seen for a very long time as a pacifist nation, particularly after World War II. It doesn't have its own military. It has a special defense force. Can you tell us how the Prime Minister and how Japan looks at this in a changing world today?
Well, up to now, that as I said, that Prime Minister Abe's main focus has been on economy. So far, no visible change on the defense policy.
There was talk about changing the special defense force, right, and actually putting in place a military. Is that correct?
To be more precise, that there is an argument that maybe we should amend our constitution in order to make our self-defense forces more suitable to the reality. But this is only a part of the picture, social picture.
Correct.
Because just like here, when we are going to talk about amending the constitution, just not only defense, but also our, let's say, how the cabinet system works, or other arguments. So I think that the Prime Minister Abe is more cautious about approaching this issue. So far as the defense or our self-defense is concerned, no visible change. But what is different is he is caring more about ASEAN countries.
Yes.
I mean, for example, that the first visit of Prime Minister Abe since he took office in last December, 26 December, was ASEAN countries.
Correct.
I mean, Indonesia or Singapore, Thai. So so he cares more about this region. And I think that this is a kind of a reflection. As you might know, that Philippines is a kind of a point of departure for our Japan's ASEAN diplomacy.
Yes.
In 1970s, then Prime Minister Fukuda visited ASEAN countries and made a famous speech called Manila Doctrine.
Yes.
And in Manila Doctrine, Japan announced three things. One is that Japan is never going to be a military power.
Yes.
And Japan and ASEAN are equal partners. And third is heart-to-heart contact. So this is the point of the origin of our ASEAN diplomacy. So we feel that he is caring more about ASEAN countries, and not only Prime Minister, but also our Foreign Minister Kishida visited the Philippines right after his appointment in I think that in the beginning of January.
Right. But again, that makes sense if the focus of the Abe administration is to look at economy, because this is a fast-growing, the fastest-growing part of the world right now, right? More than China, well, the Philippines at least for the first quarter. But let me ask you, so how does that lead to the relaxing of the visa restrictions?
Okay. Yes. It's very natural that, as I said, that the growth strategy includes three components, three plans. One is revitalizing Japanese industry.
Yes.
And second is creating new industries like healthcare or insurance, because we are aging society. And third relevant topic is tapping global market, tapping into global market.
Right.
Here we would like to have more tourists visiting Japan.
So that's the reason.
Visit Japan campaign, and from the Philippines, as a Consul General, I feel a lot of pressure, present pressure, to visit Japan. So I receive numerous requests about the visa or visit Japan.
Yes.
So actually, Prime Minister Abe announced this measure as early as in May. So we have announced it 26 June. And to be more specific, we will set up a new category of visa, short-term visit from 1 to 3 years for multiple visits. So under this multiple visit, under the valid duration, you can visit Japan as many as you wish. And though detailed requirements we will announce in our homepage, but broadly speaking, the requirements are that for those who have visited Japan more than 2 times in the last 3 years. That's or those who have sufficient economic resources with job.
Yes.
When we say economic resources, we don't mention specific figure or specific annual income, but it's still open to interpretation. And for the second entitlement, not only those who have economic resources and job, but also their spouses
Yes.
and children.
Well, let me ask you, part of the reason those restrictions were placed in the first place was because of Japan's mob, the Yakuza, and the Filipino entertainers who were funneled across. We called them Japayukis, right? Is that still a problem?
I would say it is diminishing.
Decreasing.
I mean, and that again, that is the reason why we are relaxing it.
Fantastic.
We have a kind of legacy
Yes.
of past illegal stayers of
Yes.
Filipino, but the number is decreasing.
That's good. That's great.
It's a positive development.
Is that also a direct relationship to our increasing growth rate? Perhaps the jobs are also here.
Yes,
hopefully.
absolutely. I mean, those who are asking me about the visa are those who know about Japan, maybe more than me,
Yes.
and who visited Japan so many times. And I don't sense any possibility that those people are leading to illegal stay
Yes,
or
yes.
that kind of another unfavorable activities.
This one you're really looking at increasing tourism, and Filipinos now
That's
have
right.
money to
Yes,
also travel.
that's right.
Before I ask you to wrap up, we're nearing the end of our time. The last question is about the peace process
Okay.
in Mindanao. You've been observing this peace process. We've seemed to hit a little bit of a stumbling block again now. What's your impression?
Okay. Well, I've been engaged in the peace process from 2011 August to October last year when what we call Bangsamoro Framework Agreement
Yes.
was signed.
Yes.
And the August 2011 was right after the what they call Tokyo meeting.
Yes.
A meeting between President Aquino and Chairman Murado
In Japan, in Tokyo,
and then
correct.
after that we had kind of a momentum. And within 1 year, we were able to craft this Bangsamoro Framework Agreement, BFA.
Yes.
And I see what is most important is a confidence building. Frankly, the reason Japan and other ICG members, ICG consists of Japan, UK, Turkey, Saudi Arabia,
Yes.
and 4 other NGOs. And every time when we go to Kuala Lumpur for negotiation,
Yes.
those ICG was there. The reason why we are there is that there was insufficient trust between GPH and MRF. But after a year, that there was a steady increase of confidence with each other. I don't think that nowadays that MRF is afraid, worrying that someday GPH will plan a covert operation to attack Camp Dalaparan or like that, or the other way that the GPH is afraid of MRF secret operation. That kind of fear is now diminishing. So apart from the details or technicalities of the negotiation, most important thing is momentum and mood. And I think that after the signing of the framework agreement, they already passed the point of no return. I don't think that they can simply wipe off the framework
The
agreement.
progress forward. And yet, you're not worried about this deadlock right now. So.
Well, there was, it's a negotiation,
Yes.
and for the negotiation, there is always ups and downs.
Okay.
But what's important is that, well, for example, I'm cautiously optimistic because, for one thing, that I've been to Cotabato many times,
Yes.
nearly 10 times, and I don't feel any fear or threat at all. For one thing, MRF people, they have a lot of women and children. You need to feed them.
Yes.
Weapons cannot feed them.
Correct.
Justice and peace
Yes.
are the source to feed them.
So you're relying on enlightened self-interest
That's
on both sides.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And the same is the case for the GPH.
Yes. So we have to wrap up. We've hit our time.
Thank you very much.
You paint a very optimistic world right now? Your last thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think that well, I no longer belong to younger generation, and I firmly believe that for the older, for those who are going to become older generation, to bring up out a brighter future is our mission for our older generation. That's I think what we can do for our children and for their future.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
My
speaking
pleasure.
with us.
Yes.
We've been speaking with Keizo Takawaka, the Consul General of Japan. He speaks with us as Japan and the Philippines forge closer ties, relaxed visa rules, perhaps bases, trade, and as the two countries deal with popular leaders who are actually infusing a spirit of inspiration, I would say. Right? Thank you so much. I'm Maria Ressa. Join us again.
Thank you very much. Salamat po.